evening to all of you, faithful viewers of Equinoxe television. It's time for the news in the English language. We thank you so much for always being with us. Our major stars this evening: the population of Tiko and its environs in tears following the death of at least 8 persons in an explosion. A fuel tanker descending the Likumba Hill today lost control and suddenly took to flames. At least 8 bodies trapped were retrieved from the burnt truck. The senior divisional officer for the Fako division was at the scene to take stock of the situation today. Viang Mekala confirmed the number of deaths and says others injured are being attended to in hospitals around Tiko. Our reporter Rex Afon was at the scene and he will tell us more on what exactly happened in Tiko today in this news edition. And Barrister Yaoundé Black Forever judicial honors have been paid to one of the pioneer presidents of the Cameroon Bar Council. The corpse of the legal mind who passed on some months back was retrieved from the Lakensley Hospital mortuary before being transported to the Court of Appeal for the honors. Barrister Yaoundé Black Mandenge will be laid to rest this weekend after a pontifical funeral mass that will take place at the St. Peter and Paul's Cathedral in Douala. That will be tomorrow. Viewers, those are our lead stories. Details in just a moment. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for being with us. We take you first to the southwest region in Tiko, where at least 8 persons have been confirmed dead after a fuel tanker exploded around the Likumba Hill. The senior divisional officer for the Fako division, Viang Mekala, was at the scene to take stock of the situation, and he actually confirmed that at least 8 persons lost their lives. Our reporter Rex Afon was there. He now tells us more about what actually happened in Tiko today.
It happened in the blink of an eye. A heavy-duty fuel tanker journeying from Sonara to Douala became an instrument of disaster when its brakes failed. The tanker, after colliding with a few vehicles, capsized, and in one cruel instant, flames reached out hungrily for anything in their path.
One certain camion that is transporting gas that failed brakes at that Likumba Hill, and it happened that the driver could not control himself, and it happens to take other vehicles that was coming up and the other one that was going down. 2 people living in this locality, a thing like this was almost inevitable considering the speed at which heavy-duty truck drivers descend the Likumba Hill. Those trailer drivers keep on running in this very same road. Anyhow, forget that there's a town here. This is not the first time we saw an incident like this. Some of them will do like that and succeed to control the truck and go and claim big driver who are professional, which is not good. That's one of the things that we have been complaining in this road time and over. Most of the brasseries, those who come from Kumba, they do that all the time. They are doing rally here. They overtake in this town, which is not good. We are in town, and the speed brake is damaged.
The senior divisional officer for Fako says, as at the time he visited the scene, 8 persons had been confirmed dead.
As human casualties, what I can say for now, you have 8 corpses that you have removed from the rubber, but it is possible that the number can increase, and we have 8 cars damaged.
Aside crying for those they have lost, some are lamenting over the after effects of this incident already.
High tension, everything is down. Behold, I know that we are going to stay here now 1 year without having light, with the condition that Mutengene have just so recent. Mutengene was striking over 9 months without having light. We don't know how long we are going to be in blackout. We're going to pass the festival period in blackout.
Traffic was interrupted along the Tiko Mutengene road for the better half of the day. It took the efforts of the elements of the firefighting brigade who quenched the fire and pushed the tanker away from the road for vehicles to gradually move across.
Circulation was finally re-established in Tiko, and it is fluid as we speak. In other news, 3 men have been apprehended by security forces in connection to the sexual assault and murder of a 13-year-old girl in Yaoundé. Chloe was pulled out of their house in the absence of her parents, sexually harassed and brutally killed. It was the 2nd time she was raped within just 1 year. Smarty Kang Gabriel has more.
At the family residence in Van Tropicana, precisely at Ezazu in Yaoundé, the grandmother of Chloe is still in tears as her granddaughter is no more. She died on December 6, 2025. It was at about 5:28 p.m. when I received a call from my little daughter Audrey, but it wasn't her. The man who was on phone said he wanted to reveal something to me, that as he was going to the toilet, he saw the lifeless body of Chloe. The incident, which occurred in the absence of the parents of Chloe, showed that the little girl was maliciously taken outside by her assassins, and the family believes she was raped before murdered. There were 3 little girls in the house. Chloe was the eldest. The man directly came and took Chloe, and as they were going, the junior ones wanted to follow, but he drove them away. That is how Chloe was killed. It was in a little hut that the murderers committed the act before abandoning the body in a toilet which wasn't far from the family compound. The 13-year-old Ngendem Indira Chloe was a Form 3 student at St. Joseph's Foundation School Complex. The school is also mourning Chloe.
I'm talking with a very heavy heart because the situation that happened on the 6th of December is not one to remember. Our own student Ngendem Indira Chloe raped and murdered. It's a very bitter pill for us to swallow. I was in a meeting on Saturday evening when I was called by a colleague that the bad news has happened. And when I asked which student, they said Indira of Form 3. That's a girl of 13 years old. The school is bereaved. Our hearts are heavy. It was difficult to have lessons. The teachers just manage because everybody's heart is heavy. It's a big loss to the school.
It is the second time that Chloe was being raped, and this time around killed. The first occurred last year. Early reports from investigation says a suspect has been arrested. He has in turn named 2 of his friends who were involved in the act.
Sad indeed. And the murder of baby Matisse takes another twist in Yaoundé. Yesterday at the Mfundi High Court during hearings, the main suspect of the death or killing of Matisse pleaded guilty and later rejected the charges, thus creating confusion. At the end, the court decided to take his second version and charged him not guilty. While investigations continue, the court case or the hearing has been adjourned to January 14. As Mala Glory tells us in the report which comes up next.
It was a heated debate at the Mfundi High Court when the main suspect of Matisse' killer, Nwafo, once admitted he was guilty and later changed his decision, leaving the court in total confusion.
Lorsque les débats ont été menés, suivant la procédure ordinaire.
Once the debate was launched following the ordinary process of him being guilty, we noticed that he denied the charges. So the court then charged him not guilty.
Suivant la formule ordinaire.
According to Matisse' family lawyer, the accused would have facilitated the process by just admitting himself being guilty.
Le plaider coupable nous facilite.
When charged guilty, it facilitates our job. We go straight to the point, explain what has happened, and in concluding the argument, the prosecutor advocates for the application of the law to the presented facts.
De l'honorable représentant du ministère public.
As a result, the court acquitted the final defendant of the charges.
Les débats ont eu lieu suivant la procédure de plaider coupable parce que
The debate started with the ordinary process because the accused at first pleaded guilty, but in the course of the discussion he brought up some facts which pushed the court to reject his being guilty and to charge him not guilty.
Et à dire que l'affaire va se passer sur la procédure du plaider non coupable.
The prosecution successfully argued for the imposition of a death sentence on the murderer of little Matisse. The next court hearing has thus been scheduled to take place on the 14th of January at Mfundi High Court in Yaoundé.
And now let's take you to Muturuwa in the Mayokani division of the far north region of the country, where the people there say they are faced with so many difficulties. The lack of potable water and persistent insecurity are some of the problems they face on a daily basis, especially women and young people. Cedric Chakutio now takes us to Muturuwa in the far north region.
Muturuwa, a locality in the Mayokani division of the far north region, still lives under the weight of a double burden: a critical lack of drinking water and persistent insecurity, marked in particular by kidnappings.
Il y a l'insécurité qui se pose dans la région de Muturuwa. Vous avez appris qu'il y a eu des vrais d'otages, des phénomènes de vol, de viol.
The inhabitants, especially women and youths, still walk for kilometers to find water in this mountainous area, where daily life has become an ordeal.
Ils parcourent des dizaines de kilomètres à la recherche d'eau potable et c'est vraiment malheureux.
This situation is devastating for families and hinders children's education.
S'il arrive à 10h, 11h à l'école, vous voyez que son éducation est gâtée.
Meeting for the 2026 budget session, the municipal councillors made an assessment. Even with the installation of a water tower, thirst remains ever present.
Nous allons vers le bon sur le plan de réduction.
However, the approved budget of 872 million francs CFA reflects the scale of a challenge that far exceeds the available resources.
Les femmes doivent s'autonomiser. L'autonomisation des jeunes, vous avez vu les boutiques.
Among the solutions implemented, the city council has funded the construction of modern shops in local markets.
L'autonomisation de la femme.
These new spaces are primarily accessible to young people eager to start their own businesses, as well as to women organized into associations.
J'invite les conseils municipaux à collaborer avec le maire.
A strategy designed to stimulate the local economy, offer new opportunities, and simultaneously strengthen community vigilance. Here, everyone is called upon to become a key player in the fight against insecurity. Between suffering and resilience, Muturuwa is now relying on its most dynamic members, its women and youth, to transform its challenges into opportunities.
The ongoing armed conflict in Cameroon's southwest region has jeopardized its role as the agricultural powerhouse, prompting the Southwest Development Authority to revamp investment and prioritize critical infrastructure to sustain the sector amidst dwindling government support. Rex Afon reports.
The position of the Southwest region as a key hub for agricultural activities in Cameroon has in recent years been threatened by the ongoing armed conflict. This is why the Southwest Development Authority has intensified its quest to invest more in the agricultural sector.
The board validated the budget, to the tune of 2,600 million. So this amount is expected to be collected and to be spent within the year 2026. Traditionally, what's our job? To cater for the rural world. So the bits of money that we can lay hands on, we use principally to assist the rural populations, to help them in crop production, by giving them entrance, all the things that will help them to produce their crops, fertilizers and the rest of it. And not only that, we'll take measures to make sure that the crops that they produce are resilient to climate change.
Also, the Southwest Development Authority has opted to, in the next year's activities, prioritize the rehabilitation of some farm-to-market roads, which has been a pin in the neck of farmers within the region.
The roads in the rural areas are really not in good condition. So the bit of money we have, we try to rehabilitate those roads to make them passable for them to be able to, ferry their produce from the farms to the markets. And the other social amenities that we do produce in town, social centers, markets, and all of that. Depending on how much monies we have available, we do what we can do for the year.
During a board meeting in Boya, other sources of income were examined, considering the reduction in funding from the government, its key funder.
After several months of questioning and public pressure, the Bamenda liquefied petroleum gas bottling plant finally sold its first boxes today in Bamenda. Our reporter Bustela captured the moments and also the worries of the local population in the following report.
It was a rare moment of joy mixed with urgency in Bamenda. 7 months after its grand inauguration, the city's long-awaited liquefied petroleum gas bottling plant has finally roared to life. Gas is now flowing for the very first time, and for many residents, it feels like the end of a long and frustrating wait.
The gas plant is really a welcome relief. It will ease my cooking. Firewood has become so scarce.
The breakthrough comes only after weeks of intense media scrutiny, with questions mounting over why a 6 billion francs facility remained idled long after its ribbon cutting.
Gas is available today. Gas is available and at affordable price, subsidized by the state, by the President of the Republic at 6,500 francs.
In Cameroon's conflict-hit northwest region, energy access is only part of the story. Security around public installations remains a deep concern for both residents and the authorities.
I'm therefore appealing everybody to contribute his own quota to the economic development of the Northwest region.
The deplorable state of the access road leading to the plant remains impossible to ignore.
The government cannot give us this jewel and does not fix the road. The government should really maintain this road.
Into the road matter, it will really help me a lot.
Authorities, amid the concerns, are valid, promising that road rehabilitation and electricity extension to the area are part of an ongoing development plan.
There is electricity provision that will be done from the town up here. And for the road, the government has given strict instruction to work out a 4.4 billion francs double lane road project that will be done. It will be taken into the 2026 budget.
For now, the plant's opening is a symbolic victory for a region where basic services have been crippled by years of conflicts, but for many residents, true satisfaction will only come when those long-promised road and electricity upgrades finally become a reality.
And now over to one of our listeners. Tributes and praises continue streaming in for the late former Cameroon Bar Council President Barrister Yaoundé Black Mandenge. His burial procedure ceremony began today with the corpse removal from the Yaoundé Hospital mortuary, followed by judicial homage or honors that was at the Littoral Court of Appeal. Babila Jonathan was there.
They have come from far and near, from within and without Cameroon, from different walks of life, from the Cameroon Bar to celebrate a man qualified as a legal, political and human rights icon, former Cameroon Bar President, Barrister Yaoundé Black Mandenge.
Car c'est à toi qu'appartiennent
From the Yaoundé Hospital morgue, mourners ranging from judicial authorities, members and officials of the Cameroon Bar, relatives, friends and sympathizers of the deceased praised the 87-year life and professional and political journey of the lawyer.
We can't talk about multipartism in Cameroon without talking about Yaoundé Black. He was jailed because of multipartism. We can't talk about liberties, freedom of speech, freedom of expression in Cameroon without talking about Yaoundé Black. We can't talk about the Cameroon Bar without talking about Yaoundé Black. He was indeed an icon.
We are here to say goodbye to a great lawyer, a great humanist, and somebody he was the second battalier of our bar. Since then we have had 11 battaliers. Yaoundé's first fight was to gain a full independence of the bar. And I think that is where his greatness is really grounded.
Yaoundé Black was a particular lawyer, a lawyer with a particular spirit, a spirit that cannot support injustice. Yes, and today we think that through what he has done, a normal lawyer must not be somewhere and others are practicing injustice. That is why we say we have to fight for the good of our society.
He stood for human rights. I mean, he made sure that each time there was a matter that had to do with human rights, you found him in court.
He's one of those who stood for democracy in this country, one of those people who fought for liberty, who fought for good governance, who fought for justice, who fought for social equality.
During judicial homage to the late legal mind at the Little Court of Appeal, the representative of the Minister of Justice, Minister Delegate, Barrister Jean Didier Momo, described Yondo Black as a man of truth, sincerity, freedom, hard words, strong convictions, a man who will not shift back in the face of adversities. He went further to say,
Et nous devons veiller à ce que les frustrations dénoncées,
the ills he stood against, Yondo Black stood against, have to be eradicated to build a great and exemplary judicial system in an exemplary country. Bar President Barrister Mba Eric Mba announced special honors to Barrister Yondo Black.
The Cameroon Bar thinks that we want to make a monument of him. That we think that the family of Yondo Black should surrender to the Cameroon Bar the robe of Yondo Black. That robe is so precious to the Cameroon Bar. By itself is a whole history, and that the Cameroon Bar intends to keep, so that children, younger colleagues that are yet to born will grow up and read and see at least the robe that was worn one time by a great icon.
Batune Yondo Black Mandingi was a legal colossus. We are going to learn from his legacy as a man who has stood for human rights, who has stood for civil liberty, and as we have immortalized him today by the Cameroon Bar, I think that most of us young lawyers are going to learn from him, are going to emulate him.
Barrister Yondo Black is thus raised to the rank of immortality, so to speak, within the Cameroon Bar, the nation, and beyond.
Barrister Yondo Black Mandinke will be laid to rest tomorrow in Douala after a pontifical funeral mass, which will be celebrated by His Grace Samuel Kleda, that would be at the St. Peter and Paul's Cathedral tomorrow here in Douala. May the soul of the legal luminary continue to rest in the Lord. And viewers, that was what we put together for you this evening on the news. Thank you so much for being with us. Our programs continue. Equinoxe will be yours at 7 p.m. and the news in the French language comes up at 8 p.m. Bye-bye for now and enjoy the rest of your weekend in the company of interesting programs on Equinoxe Television, and see you again on Monday.